What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Sports Fights. My name is Jordan Parhar, and with me today are some sports fighters. Once again, should be a great show as we debate some topics from the sports world. In today's show, we're going to be talking about which team is the worst in the MLB, how you would fix the All-Star games across all of the four major professional sports leagues, who is your Cinderella pick for the Stanley Cup playoffs, which is the worst good team of all time, and what city should host the Olympics that hasn't yet. Before we get into it, let's introduce our fighters for today. First, he's the youngest on the panel. He's got the brightest shirt, and he's the first guy to go from host to fighter. So here we go. Give it up for Tyler Bennett, ladies and gentlemen.
Canucks need to stop winning games. Stop now.
Benz, how you doing today, man?
Oh, doing pretty well. I'm glad to be on the other side of it today, not having to memorize lines and just kind of speak about sports.
See, you screwed up. The move is you don't memorize the lines. You just get them on a piece of paper, borrow Kyle's pen before the show, the green pen, and then you just make notes for yourself and just read off of this. That's what I did. I'm not as good as Tyler, but I try my best. Next on the panel, he's my brother from another mother. I feel like if I was fully Stindian, I'd be a little bit more like Kyle. I'm only half, unfortunately. So he's the better version of me. It's the great Kyle Benning, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle, how are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, Jordan. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm thrilled. This is good. You know why? You know why I'm thrilled?
Why is that?
Because we have a legend. Guys,
we do.
On our panel today. Joining us today for the first time and possibly the last time in sports fight history.
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly. And just a programming note, just for behind the scenes, inside baseball. Poor Bill Amos has been here since 3:30 p.m. I mean, he needs to get home for dinner. His wife is calling him, and we're just keeping him away from home. But he's being kind enough to be here with us. Former CBC sports reporter, anchor, really jack of all trades, Bill Amos. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I hope you don't find me too old-fashioned.
Oh, we will not, Bill. Although program, I mean, that's
I know.
That's okay.
That's an old term.
It's an old term. It really is.
I was told when I was anchor that I always had to refer to it as a program. It was never a show.
Never a show?
No, never a show. My producer told me, get this and get this straight. News is not a show.
Well,
news is a program, my friend.
Oh, wow.
Welcome to the other side of it, then.
There we go.
You're on a show right now.
Bill, this is not
I
news.
figured this wasn't a program.
No, this is not a program. This is more of a joke, if you will. But a fun joke and a fun time. Or a show, as Nathan Hutton has coined it. It's at Sports Fights, the show on Twitter. Make sure you follow us. And also, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube as well, Sports Fights Roundtable. Okay. All right, guys, let's jump right into it. Now, baseball season has just started. Opening day was this past Sunday. I personally enjoyed it quite a bit. It was very, very fun. The baseball is a great game. You know who loves baseball? Quinn Allen. Good dude.
He does.
He's played it, I understand.
Yes, he almost was in the pros, Bill, but he has to somehow...
He wants to make a comeback. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll see. And with baseball season coming back, you know, I was thinking to myself the other day, which team is the worst in Major League Baseball? I was thinking about these teams, and I was like, it's kind of hard. So I thought, what a better question would be, who is the worst, or which division is the worst in Major League Baseball? Because that's a little bit more interesting, because, I mean, every division seems to have, one or two good teams. So, I feel like this would be a good one for debate. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to say on this. Bill, let's start with you. Which division in Major League Baseball is the worst, and why? You are on the clock.
I believe that is the National League East Division. And the reason is, I know what, right away I know. Okay, wait a minute, you're going to say. What are you talking about? The Mets went to the World Series. What you said it's
of course,
division?
Yeah, worst division, you got a good team. You got the Nationals, Bill? I mean,
But
what?
But, I have data to back this up.
Okay, here we go.
The Mets did not do a fantastic job in the series. To me, they looked way out of their depth. And their bottom three teams exude foul odors indeed. I speak of the Marlins, the Phils, and the Braves. Although the Braves actually, last year, they had kind of a not bad little run, and then they sunk right to the bottom. By the way, how do the Marlins stay in the league? Every time I look at the highlights, there's like 78 people in the stands.
Good
And
owners.
what is it with baseball in Florida?
I don't know.
T-Bay? There's nobody there either except fans from the other team. Like everybody is on
there's baseball fans
vacation.
everywhere, Bill.
They're on vacation.
Bill,
they go to the game.
Bill, your
And
friend,
more
Bill.
than the Tampa Bayites.
Bill, your friends, they're all down in Florida, man.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
what's
they
happening.
are.
They are.
Yeah.
You'll be there one day too.
Yeah, Bill.
Anyway.
At the end of this show, maybe you'll want to go down there to just get rid of us. Okay, so there we go. So Bill is saying the NL East.
Yes.
Very surprising
Yes.
Answer to hear that because of the Mets.
Could I make another point?
Well,
or two?
we'll get into that in a
All
little bit,
right.
Bill. Your time is up. You're
cut
Oh,
off.
you're cut off. Let's throw it to Tyler. Tyler Bennett, who is the worst, or which division is the worst in Major League Baseball?
Well, you don't have to go far to find them. It's the AL West. You take a look at it. You know, the Houston Astros had an incredible season last year. I think they're going to win the AL East by a long shot. The Texas Rangers.
AL West. Sorry.
AL West.
Misspoke, just like me in the pre-show.
AL West.
Happens.
AL West. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there it
AL
was.
West. Texas Rangers won the division last year.
I was going to say Angels.
Probably
in the AL East.
no. The technically the worst playoff team, I think, in the playoffs last year, and they won the whole division last year. So I think the Astros are on a big spike upwards. I think they're going to take the division. But the other four teams, you got the Mariners, the Athletics, the Rangers, and missing one more here.
Angels.
Angels,
There you go.
and they've never really cracked the barrier even with Mike Trout. So I'm just going to go with the AL West.
All right. The Rockies are in the AL West too, are they?
No, they're in the NL.
National League,
Nah.
my friend.
See,
Yeah.
I
The
always
senior circuit, as they call it.
see. There you go. This is we'll edit this part out of the
Yeah,
show.
no,
Okay.
no, leave it in, I say.
Okay. Kyle Benning. Okay, AL West, interesting, Tyler. Kyle, what do you think? Who's the worst division?
To shock you even more, you were surprised with Bill's answer with the NL East. I'm going to say the AL Central, despite the
What?
Royals winning the World
What?
Series. Yep. The Royals were the only team in that division to make it to the playoffs. And if you look at the rest of the division, all the teams were more than 10 games back of the Royals when the season ended.
Yeah, but the Royals won like almost
That-
Yeah, but
games.
that's,
That's a lot of games, Kyle.
that's one team out of 5 that was successful that season.
Okay, so let's talk about so who's so bad then in the AL Central?
Well, the Tigers ended the season 20 and a half games back.
but then they kind of underachieved, Kyle.
They did underachieve,
Okay, let's keep going.
but White Sox 19 games back,
Oh, yeah.
the Indians 13 and a half back, and the Twins 12 games back.
But can we say that was 2015? It's a new season, Kyle. Can we say that? Do we know? Are the White Sox going to be that bad again? They just got Brett Lawrie. They've got Todd Frazier now. If you look over with Cleveland Indians, they got some good pitching there. The Tigers. I mean, Tigers are bound to bounce back.
Oh,
right,
the Tigers
right,
are a great team.
Tyler.
Are we allowed to debate now?
Debate. Let's
Okay,
go. Let's
let's
get
go.
into it.
Debating
Tyler.
time.
Let's
Why?
debate. Let's do it. Let's
the
do it.
flaw
Wow.
in your two arguments are injuries, and last year injuries were the biggest part on why some of the teams in your division did not do well. The Miami Marlins, Giancarlo Stanton played, I think, 90 games last year, and you look on yours.
Look at their uniforms. Come on.
the uniform.
Look at the uniforms.
And then
78 people in
The
the
Detroit Tigers, Miguel Cabrera played 70 games last year. That's 2 all-star players they did not have for the majority of the season last year.
How about history? How about history?
History,
I'll give
okay.
you this. Now, looking up at the records once more, in the last 60 years, this
60.
is over 6 decades,
Okay.
teams from the NL East,
Yes.
even before there was an NL East, I've only won 6 World Series in 60 years. That's 1 every 10 years, okay?
Mhm. Yes.
Teams from the other NL divisions have won it 20 times.
Yeah, but we're
That's
talking about
one
this year.
every
This is
Yeah,
the
Bill,
year.
Bill, this is the
That's
2016
That's
show.
compared to 1 every
We don't-
10 years.
Yes. I
Well,
get that
That's
this
bad.
This
but
is
you
not-
look at
That's
the
very
stats.
bad.
This is not Sports Fights best of the 20th century. It is Sports Fights for this year in the present,
Well,
Bill.
that's the problem
2016.
today. No one remembers the lessons of history.
No,
Those
they
who do not
not.
remember the lessons of history are condemned to repeat them.
All right. Well,
I'll take that. I'll take that.
That's a great argument for a different argument. This is not what we're talking about. So, okay, Kyle, let's get you in here. So Tyler is saying that injuries are the main reason why
The divisions were so bad
Yeah,
last
the
year.
division. Well, both divisions, but in the AL Central in particular. I mean, yeah, Miggy Cabrera misses a lot of games. So, what are your thoughts on
Right.
that?
Well, in terms of what's the worst division, I would say it's based on the competitive level. If there's such a jump from one team to the next, how is the AL West less competitive than the AL Central.
Because we're talking about progression here. This is a new year, and you look at the teams. Look at the Twins. They got a lot better. Miguel Sano, their third baseman, he's gonna have a great breakout year. You look at the Cleveland Indians. Francisco Lindor, Rookie of the Year last year, I believe, at shortstop for them. They've improved on all bases. Most of these teams, with exception of the White Sox, who I don't think. Well, other than Todd Frazier, I think they're still going to be bottom feeder. But I think
Todd
teams
the
are
bottom.
improving here in the AL Central.
Brett
I'm looking
Lawrie,
at the
Brett
AL
Lawrie.
West, and I don't
Brett
see any improvement.
Lawrie, I'm
He's-
sorry, Brett Lawrie. I've heard stories about Brett Lawrie. My grandsons and my son played in Langley baseball.
Insight.
Brett Laurie's a legendary there for certain things.
He's a cancer.
Whoa.
He's a
For-
cancer.
Breaking news!
He is-
You're hurting
he
your own
is-
argument right now.
He
I
has
hope.
been irresponsible.
Okay.
Irresponsible. Let's putting it
Irresponsible.
minor.
Okay.
I mean, putting it mildly.
Okay, guys, let's wrap this up. Closing arguments from the three of you. Kyle, let's start with you.
All right. The AL Central was the only division across the majors where the second place team was more than 8 games back. So in terms of competitive level, they were more like every team was more than 10 games back, more than double digits back of the leader. So that's my main argument.
So you're gonna beat the dead horse, Kyle.
I'm going to beat the dead horse.
Kyle's beating the dead
Yeah.
horse. Bill, what's your closing statement?
Well, here, the facts speak for themselves. Last year, the Mets had the lowest number of wins of any, not just any division winner, but any playoff team. But the lowest number of wins of any
we're talking
team
about
in the play. Just a moment.
This is the only show that participants can hush them.
yeah,
the,
exactly.
Putting it in your place.
Yeah. Normally I would.
The second place team, Washington Nationals.
The Nats are good.
4 games over 500. That's what they've been. 4 games
But
over
they
500.
underachieved,
This
Bill.
is-
They
this is
underachieved.
Pathetic.
But
Pathetic.
performance is what counts, isn't it?
It's a new
pathetic.
year. Tyler, finish it off.
The big word here was. Now, improvement. Teams are improving in your divisions. This year, these teams are going to be better. They're going to be over 500. It's going to be a competitive division. I think the AL West is not improving other than the Houston Astros. Therefore, they're going to have a 10-game lead on the division and cruise into the playoffs. That's my argument.
Okay, there we go.
Wow.
So interesting arguments from the panel here. First off, good job coming up with answers, because this is tough. To come up with an entire division that just sucks, it's hard, because every division has good teams and every division has bad teams. It's just finding which one collectively is the worst. In terms of the arguments here, I think, Kyle, you just kept saying that it's, for me, how I'm looking at this, I think it's which division is the worst in the MLB right now. And we're going at directly from last year's results, but I think that last year's results aren't indicative as to what the future is for the AL Central. For Bill, I think your argument that the NL East is the worst division, I think it's flawed, because
Why?
you said the Mets. Well, first, Kyle, because the Mets are good, the Nationals are good. These are 2
4 games
teams
over
that can
500.
win. The
Please,
Miami
please.
Marlins.
Worst-
The
worst
Miami
record of any playoff
Marlins.
team. Come
The
on.
Miami Marlins could make the playoffs
please.
this year. They could sneak in. Jose Fernandez is unreal at home. I mean, Stanton, D. Gordon. Not a bad team.
It's still humid
the
down there.
Phillies, I'll give it to you. Phillies are terrible. But, Tyler, AL West, I agree. Astros are freaking good. But the rest of the division, it's like, I don't really know. So in terms of the argument, I got to give the point to my boy, Tyler Bennett. Tyler is up 1-0. All right.
Reluctantly.
So that will do it
Sign
for...
of things to come. Sign of
Can
things
we
to come.
say this under protest?
No. So,
Mr.
That-
Dictator over there.
hey, Bill, I'm the host, okay? This is not the Bill Amos show, okay? When we're on Bill Amos fights, you can yell at me. All right,
good.
so that will wrap things up for part 1 of this edition of Sports Fights. My name's Jordan Parhar. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. We are Sports Fights Roundtable on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter as well. It's @SportsFights, the show. For Bill Amos, Kyle Benning, and Tyler Bennett, I'm Jordan Parhar. We'll see you next time on part 2 when we talk about how these guys would fix the All-Star games.